Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. A very special presentation of YSN Live for you here. DJ Yoakley bringing you all the heat on this cold day in February. But we are making our way toward March, which can only mean one thing. It means postseason basketball. And here to lay it all out for you, the YSN basketball guru, a guy that knows numbers like the back of his hand, but he knows basketball because, well, he's been doing it his whole life. Ladies and gentlemen, my broadcast partner, soon to be the Emmy Award winning Tom Titus. What's up, Coach?
That's a good intro, my man. And we just keep finding ways to get together, don't we?
You know what? If we can just keep doing this, they've got to give us an Emmy at some point. Maybe
we're bound to hoist that trophy. We're bound to hoist that trophy.
Hoist the trophy.
Great.
7 teams will hoist trophies in basketball for boys this year, and we are going to break down who you think. Because this is what you do. You just watch hoops. You're a hoops nerd, the hoops guru here at YSN. I'm excited to learn a little bit more in depth about what you've seen this regular season and who you think is going to make a run during the postseason. So let's break it down kind of from a standpoint. You did the research. For the last year or two, they've been doing things a little bit different. Tournament time, they do the max preps rankings. Can you just give us a 30,000 overhead view, 30,000 foot overhead view on kind of how this works for those that are still not familiar with, how the tournament in Ohio is run?
Yeah, it used to be coaches had votes. So we played them, they played us, we beat them, they beat us, well, they beat you, and we beat them by a bigger margin. So back in the day, it used to be pills, it used to be coaches talking to other coaches, and it, somewhat kind of a beauty contest. And they would then align you in your district, in your region, based upon what seed most coaches voted you in. So if you legit number ones came in because everybody, all the coaches in the area voted you that, and then so on down the line. I'm old school, it. I say it a lot how I am. I think that way was probably not the most efficient and not the best. It's like politics, man. The smile and wave, most attention usually gets the highest votes, right? So. It's in money, but there was
something
no money.
Like that. Something like that, right?
Basketball. So, they did away with it, and I kind of like now it's RPI rating. So, the tougher the schedule, the higher the rating. I mean, you could go 5, you can go 10-10, but play 10 really tough Division 1-2 teams, and you could get a little bit higher rating because you didn't get beat so bad, and your RPI could be higher. So that's the max preps. If nobody's ever heard of that, look it up, Google it. That gives you a lot of insight as to where the seeding will come from throughout the season for the OHSAA and what they use to rank teams throughout the state. So D1 all the way down to Division 7. No longer is it driven by the coaches in the area or the coaches in the state. So, I mean, I could break down the percentages of how it works, but I don't think we want to get into all that.
That's why I love you. You're deep diving into that because you love the game. Obviously, you mentioned 1 through 7. We're going to be focusing on 2 through 7 because we don't really have anybody in the YSN stratosphere that is D1. So we'll focus on 2 through 7, and I want to kick this off right with the top seed in Division 2 for us at YSN, and that's Austintown Fitch. When you think about Austintown Fitch, they're sitting there with a number 5 seed. Does hosting early rounds give Fitch at all an edge in Division 2, or is it just too deep for that to even matter?
No, I mean, I can answer that question from D1 to D7. If you have a game at home early on, it's going to take some of that. Oh my gosh, we don't win. We're going to leather up the baseball gloves and have to roll. Have to put the basketballs away, because that's legitimate, man. It's when you get into win or go home, you start to tighten up a little bit. So when you got your home crowd and you're into your home rhythm, I think that gives you an early edge. Certainly for Fitch, who's been playing good basketball of late, beating West Branch, beating Green recently, and having your home crowd, I think that gets you in the groove of it. Do I think that Fitch can make a run? Man, I mean, they have a heavy bracket. They got Brecksville and Massillon ahead of them. Those are going to be tough matchups for them to get all the way to the region. That's going to be a tough one. But Beanie's got them playing good basketball right now.
That kind of ties into the next question, because the question is, if they can make a dent into the regionals, do they have the guard play to get them through that portion of the bracket and into the state tournament officially? I mean, you think about EJ and you think about what he did and the show that he put on when he was literally right in front of us. I mean, we could talk all day about when we saw him licking his shoes. Boy, we knew what was going to happen, but they've got sharpshooters. They've got inside presence. The guard specifically, do you think they have the guard play to take them to Dayton?
I don't want to take away from anybody, but I think it's going to be difficult. They are senior heavy, which is, I've been going to that tournament since I was in 7th grade. So I'm not going to age myself, DJ, but Hulk Hogan was very much alive and well and ripping through people's, chins. So I will tell you that I've always seen two things: a big man that can play around the rim, that can defend well and can score well, and a point guard that is the coach on the floor that will never not be caught off guard, never will not turn the basketball over, is very efficient. I didn't see that out of Fitch where they have a point guard that can just flat take over the game and control the momentum for and against their squad. So I give them. I don't give them an early exit, but I don't get them to the region where everybody wants to get to in that region, that district.
The next one we want to talk about, Boardman. They have the number 26 seed. They're hosting a 26-27 game. Is it a coin flip, or is this a momentum builder for the Spartans?
They're home, right? I looked at that, and Wadsworth's coming into town. Wadsworth's got about an hour and 20-minute bus ride, and that's something to be said about that. So I think they got the edge there. I do believe that Boardman will have the edge, and I think when you're well coached, I think probably Flores is looking as a not only a momentum builder in the OHSA tournament, but maybe a momentum builder for the program. I think there's some unrealistic that they're going to move much past that. But I think that they can at least build upon that.
Jace Farley, naturally their leader, and as he goes, so do the Spartans. Do you agree?
Yeah. And he's a junior, right? He's a junior, and that's what I said. Maybe you can get a little kick in the pants momentum for not only a good win in the tournament's a good win, and I think you get going a little bit, and maybe you get some excitement around there, get some younger guys to work on their game over the off season.
Flip side of that coin, we go from Boardman to Harding. Harding, not a YSN school yet, but we still want to talk about them because they do have some incredible talent on their team. They enter as the number 20 seed, but they are on the road. They are in the Valley Forge area pool. Does that work against the Raiders?
That's a long way away. That's a long way away. And they, you know, again, I know they're a little bit on the younger side also. And when you're traveling a little bit in the tournament, it tends to hurt you because you're not in your daily groove. You're not in your, you know, your conference play where you know in your head when you get on the bus how far away the bus is. And you're already, you know, a little bit locked up, a little tightened up because what it is you lose, you go home. So I think of all those three D2 seeds, DJ, I actually think Fitch probably has and I know they're higher seeded, but I think they've got the best potential to get further along than the other two.
Let's move to a Division III kind of optic opportunity because this is a division that everybody's talking about. You talk about, you talk about Cheney, you talk about Ursuline, two teams that a lot of people have had eyes on this year. Let's talk about Cheney first. I mean, when you think about Cheney, let's say they get past the districts and into a regional semi. Do you think that the Cowboys have the physicality that it takes to win a game like that?
Yeah, I do. I think they're physical. They have one of my favorite guards in Austin. I mean, you got some kids that can play, and you've got real good guard play. You know, Keith Franklin's friend. He's a freshman. He's young, but he's played a lot of basketball. Comes from a good, you know, off-season program that I know that he works with. You know, and I know so there's guys that have played basketball, and you have to play basketball to when you get further and further along in the OHSAA tournament, you've got to be not afraid of anything, and you know you got to be skilled not only on the court of play, but you got to be skilled upstairs not to fold the tent. So I'm chomping at the bit, man. I don't want to look ahead, but man, if Cheney and Ursuline played in the regional final game, there might be busloads of people that go to that matchup because I think it'd be one heck of a matchup. But
you answered one of my
questions. I think Cheney can probably get there. Yeah.
You kind of segued into my next question, so I'm going to bounce back and let's talk about Ursuline, Noah Bell, and obviously Jalen Gunther. You've got a two-headed monster there, and you've got dogs all up and down the roster. Keith Gunther, one of the best coaches, not just in the area, I would argue in the state, in any sport. When you think about Ursuline this year, you think about them putting up points. Defense, they can play it when they need to. What is it about this Ursuline team that is so just eye-catching every time you turn them on YSN?
They play fast. They play they play a version of basketball that you know that's exciting. You know, they put points up. Like you got 2,000 point scorers there on the same basketball team. And, you know, you got juniors there that are catching the all-time scoring leaders in Ursuline. And let's not be, there's some good basketball players that have come through Ursuline over the years. So understand that's a heck of a feat if you can start cruising towards the all-time leader in that school. So they play fun basketball and they play defense, man. They get after it too. So it's not like, yeah, we're going to put up, 85, 95. We're just going to outscore you. They get in stances and they play defense and they're physical. And they even lost one of their better players, and the Ricardo kid went to Canfield. And I can't imagine if he was on that team that where they'd be. But they haven't really missed a beat. And I will tell you, they bowed out early last year. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be the fat boy at a buffet. They're going to be hungry. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you're allowed to say whatever you want, dude. That was awesome. Cheney, the number 2 seed, Ursuline, number 3 seed, obviously favorites to head towards the regional. But when you're talking about these double-digit seeds, especially when you're talking about Howland, who has had a magical season, is there upset potential for the Tigers in this tournament to make their march towards Dayton?
Yeah, I think they're like a moderate sleeper. I think they're gritty. They're younger, and I think they've got a lot of players. So if you do anything, when you have depth in the tournament, it's helpful. So your rotations, your guys don't get tired, and so you can play a little bit faster of a basketball game. And much like Boardman and some other teams that we'll probably talk about a little bit down the road, I'm not. You're done with they're too young. They're young. You're done with that conversation. You're in your third season, right? You have your preseason before the conference play, then you have your middle season, your conference play, and now you're at your third season. You're in the tournament time, and you should be geared up and ready to go. And not one single person on your staff as a coach should be talking about how old your basketball players are. They've all been after it all year long. So that you throw out the window and you say, let's go play basketball. And I think Howland's got some potential there. They got some nice players that younger guys that are really peaking and coming of age right now. So I would say moderate sleeper potential. How about that?
I love it. I love it. They've been fun to watch all year long. I don't want to see it end. Is it bad to say that? I love watching.
They have some crazy games too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We call them viral games around here. Every time Howland takes the floor. Yeah. Let's head over to Division 4, and this is Canfield's to win. I mean, everybody's looking at this. I guess they're the number 1 seed. It begs the question: is there anybody even in the quadrant that can knock them off potentially?
I think I don't think so. I think they have a real clear and clean path to Canton, the Memorial Fieldhouse. They're definitely the district favorite. They're the regional favorite. I think where they're going to start running into trouble is where they have for 40 years. You get into Cleveland Central Catholic or Glenville. You don't know what you get with those teams because you can't just look at their schedule and say, oh, they played this, and this, and we match up well with those teams because that's not that's a very difficult thing to scout. When you play in that Cleveland, when you play in Cleveland at all, you got to be ready to go every night. And so Glenville and Central Catholic, they're going to be battle tested. And I guess I don't know how battle tested Canfield is. I know they've played Cheney and Ursuline this year. I know Cheney got them by 25. I don't know if they played Ursuline. I'm sorry. I should look back and see. But Canfield plays a tougher schedule. But are they playing the schedule that those other Cleveland teams that they're going to potentially run into? So I think they're bound for the region for sure. I think it'd be. The coaches over there, I think, would be probably a little bit upset if they didn't get through the district and get a district title. But that's not where, if I'm them, that's not where I'm looking to end our season. That's not my goal. Certainly, the goal is to get to Dayton for everybody. But I think Canfield's been knocking on that Dayton door, and I think they want to try to get there. So John Cullen over there, man, he's built that culture for years and years and years, and that culture stayed the same since the 90s or late 80s, early 90s.
I got to believe you're dead on. Coach V over there, we're very familiar with Chris Brooks as well. Yeah. It would be certainly a letdown if they didn't cut down the district net this year. And certainly they've got bigger plans than that.
Realistically, I don't think anybody gets them. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Hey, your show, dude. Your show. I'm just teeing you up. Salem, the number 5 seed. Is this a division, Tom, where a number 5 seed could cause some trouble for everybody else if they get hot?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Division 4, it's a wild thing, but they do reward momentum. I think a 5 seed gets hot, they can roll. They can roll to the region. And I think Salem's kind of a dangerous mid seed. They're strong. They can get hot. They might steal a game or two. And what do you have to do in the tournament? You have to steal a game or two if you want to get to where you to the region. And I do think they've got some potential as a mid seed to do that. And they're one of the few that I kind of looked at and said they're playing good ball. And I don't get to see them enough because one thing I'd love to do, DJ, is sit home every night and watch basketball. But I do have children and a wife, so and a job. I forgot about that. But no, I think they're a dangerous mid seed. If they get some momentum, I don't see why not.
You act like your children and your wife stop you from watching basketball every night. We all know the truth.
No, that last night they sat there with me, watched 3 college basketball games. So.
Attaboy. Hey, D5, man, this is what
Yeah.
you know very, very well. You've seen a lot of these teams live and in person, even a couple times, especially when we're talking about Poland and Girard. I want to know, these two teams, obviously NE8 teams, do rivalry games flow over to the postseason? I mean, we've seen it in football, but is it the same in basketball where, hey, guess what? This is round 3, and the rubber match, this is where it's won or lost.
Absolutely. I mean, think about this. I was shocked when I saw the first round matchup between Poland and Girard. And I don't know, because the coaches, as you go down the seeding, coaches get to pick where they go. 1 through 30, and they get to pick their spot, whatever's not taken. And the 4 games that are top to bottom here. So you have Girard and you have Poland playing one another. You have Mooney and Southeast playing one another, and the winners of those 2 games play each other in the second round. So I think it's like a knockdown, drag out fight for those 4 teams that are all 4 of them have the potential to get out of that game to get to the district finals. I thought it was, the district championship. That was crazy side of the bracket. I was kind of excited to see how that plays out, because you've got a Poland and Girard team that have played close basketball. You got Braxton Sloan and Tukalo over there that can go after each other, and both can have 30. So, and you got some good bigs on either side of the game that can play a little bit too. So it'll be a very interesting matchup. I do think Poland's probably got the edge there, just because I think they've got more senior. Carmine's you're gonna have to hit him with a baseball bat if you want to drag him off the basketball court if he's so he's going to do everything in his powers not to put the baseball glove on. So I think you've got and he's dangerous when he's got that mindset. So I think they're probably in the D5 region. They're the threat to go the longest in my mind.
So note to Brian Banfield, please check all baseball bats at the door before you let anybody into that particular barn. Okay, let's say that the number 5 seed Poland is able to get past Girard in a big matchup, and I think that's one of the bigger matchups of the entire tournament, especially to start. How dangerous can Poland be as the number 5 seed in this particular region?
I think they can be as dangerous as there's 2 teams in this region that I don't know if we could put together a Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana County all-star team to beat Lutheran East. I hate to say that about our guys are, this is obviously the division that I care about the most. But Lutheran East they've won 5 straight, and they are looking to they're the crowd favorite, they're the betting favorite, they're the RPI favorite in Division 5, and it's not by like a little bit, DJ, it's by a lot. And I looked back through and said, like, who can knock them off? And you go back to like Chagrin Falls and the other teams that are in our districts and regions. So where I think the sleeper team that's not even from around here is, Canton Central Catholic has played a brutal schedule, and they've won some games in the Division 5 teams shouldn't win, and that's where I think LeBray is going to run into some trouble, and I think Poland would have a hard time with that with them, and Poland would have a hard time with Lutheran East. Can they play with the other teams? Yeah, I think so for sure, but I think there's. It's frustrating, I think, for a lot of the coaches around the region to look and say, okay, how do we get away from, some of the schools that we know to be powerhouses in our region, just so we can try to get to that district championship and get to that regional semi. So, that's my short answer on that.
You mentioned LeBray. They're the number 8 seed. I look at this bracket, and it looks like LeBray versus Lakeview. It feels like a coin flip. I mean, who has the edge in this one? I know you mentioned LeBray, but Lakeview's no pun intended, they're a dog too.
Yeah. And I mean, Lakeview's played they've played a tougher schedule. They've in the NE8, they've had to battle, and they haven't won a lot of games, but they got some kids that can score, and they've got a 1,000-point scorer on their team, and they're well coached. So I would give the edge to LeBray though, just purely because I feel like they're home, and that's going to probably give them the edge that they need to get over the hump on that one.
All right, now we get to talk about a team you know a little bit about, the number 13 seeded South Range Raiders. Listen, we know that this single-digit seeds, they're going to be favored all throughout the tournament, but with South Range sitting at 13, we've seen really good and we've seen not so good at times with this team this particular year. Just depends on, who's not, and who's playing. Talk to me about South Range and what you anticipate seeing out of the Raiders. Could they be upset special throughout the entire tournament bracket?
Yeah, I mean, I think the upset will could possibly fizzle out at some point in time, but I do believe they're capable. That team's a capable team. They've got scorers. They've got guys that can get hot, and we saw that with Lukey Rowan last year. He won us some games that we shouldn't have won. And if you look at South Range schedule, you look at the losses on the schedule. Are there blowouts? Maybe one. Maybe Fitch might have been our only blowout. So they play within 8 to 10 points, maybe 6 to 8 points of most teams around here, and they haven't had a pansy schedule. They've played basketball teams and they've played some of the bigger schools. So that's going to help them. Now there's a lot of guys on there that are baseball players, but there's a lot of guys on there that want to extend the season. And, Pat Carden, it's going to be in his favor to get as many games under his belt as he can, because his roster is young and he wants to mature that roster. So he wants to mature as a coach too. He doesn't have a lot of head coaching experience in the tournament, and like it, don't like it, right or wrong, it changed. When you get to tournament play, it's different. You got to change your style a little bit. You got to be ready for everything. You got to be way more prepared than you ever are during. We see the NE8 guys. We just saw them a couple of weeks ago. We see them again. Now you're playing teams that you got no idea, so you've got to be extra prepared for all things that are going to go on in that game. Cold shooting, lack of rebounding, presses, full court, half court, 3/4 court. So I think with South Range, I think if you get some hot shooting, some good scoring, they're capable enough to make a nice little run in their pathway. I mean, yeah, they're going to run into Chagrin Falls if they win their first round game, and that certainly will be a big time test for where are they at maturity wise.
And now we move into your dojo. I mean, Division 6, Division 7. This is small town basketball. The stuff I know you absolutely love. Division 6. Let's focus on 3 teams specifically. Brookfield, the number 4 seed. You got Lisbon at number 7, Columbiana at number 8. Lisbon and Columbiana share the EOAC title this year by splitting with each other and then splitting, different losses and wins along the way in the EOAC. But Brookfield's interesting to me, Tom, because you look at Brookfield, they're probably the quietest team. They're the team that's most under the radar, I think, with a seed such as in the top 5 at least. Are they the most dangerous team to be under the radar?
I think they're well balanced. I do. It's fun. You say quiet. I mean, it's perfect for that team. They are, they haven't really been on the radar of a lot of people, including me, until I went back and started looking. I'm like, man, they played some good basketball, and they've got some nice, they've got some nice players that do a lot of good things. And I think their path sets up pretty nicely for them to get to a district final. How far they can get from there, I think it's a tough division, and certainly hard to say. But I like them of all the teams in the D6. I probably like them the most to get as far as they can, as far as they go. But you got another group of the Lisbon and Columbiana. I think Columbiana's problem is, are they healthy? How healthy, if they are healthy. And can they stay healthy? I know we talk a lot about mid to end of season and where you're beat up, and I think that might play a role in this tournament play for them. And Lisbon, they've got opportunity here to make a run, to make some noise. But I really think I think Brookfield's got the most opportunity here to get a little further than the other two.
I'm going to put you on a spot here because you mentioned Columbiana at Lisbon. You got Huxold, you got Johnson, brothers-in-law. I mean, it always seemingly comes down to them at the end of the year in that conference. But the question now, throw all the conference stuff out the window. Who's the best team in Columbiana County? Or scratch that. Who's the team in Columbiana County that goes the furthest in 2026 in the OHSAA tournament? Is it Columbiana, Lisbon, or the rest of the field?
Yeah, in Columbiana County, I'm looking at the brackets right now. I'm just trying to answer that question as best as I can. And Lisbon's got what, Springfield to start. They don't have my concern with Lisbon is they're going to run into Richmond Heights in the district finals, and that's going to be a brutal game for them to win. Richmond Heights has won the last 4 or 5 in that in that division, which is very much like Lutheran East in Division 5. In Columbiana, they could probably make a run. I mean, they're going to see some familiar foes in Valley Christian, so I'll answer that on the spot. I'll tell you, I think it's Columbiana would be able to, if out of all of those teams, I would say they're going to make the farthest run.
I set you up, pal. I didn't have to. I wanted to just to flex my muscles. I'm gonna work into my segue as well, because the team that I think in Columbiana County has the best shot to go deep is in Division 7, and it's Heartland Christian. They sit there at the number 3 seed, man. Like what Josh Scott does with his team, the coaches on his staff, the kids, the talent that they have in their locker room, the character that they have outside of sports. It's incredible. They're training. Right here in athletics, they train like 24/7. It's incredible.
I know you probably see them all the time, right?
All the time. And they're built for these moments. And I know that McDonald in Division 7 is the number 1 seed, but Heartland, correct me if I'm wrong, their path to success is probably the cleanest of anybody in any division of any across the board.
Yeah, I have them getting to the regional semis. I think Heartland legit can make it there. We played South Range, played them last year. It was a lot of fun. The game was fun. It was high paced. And I told you, like, I don't subscribe to the age thing, but when the kids come, when the players are coming back, the players are coming back. Okay, so if they're not seniors, and you're looking at that going, man, they're going to be a tough team next year, and here we are next year, and they've got an easy one in Lordstown, and they're going to run into to Bristol, and probably I would say the district would be what, Western Reserve. Bingo. Western Reserve. Am I right? And I think they've got the edge on Western Reserve, and I believe they'll get to the region, but then I think they run into a tough Medina Christian team that's just seated higher and probably more skilled than they are. But I see them playing a regional semi game.
All right, you already showed your hand, but this teaches me a lesson. This teaches me a lesson. I'm no longer allowed to give you the questions ahead of time. So lesson learned on my part as a journalism guy.
Yeah, you like picking me off my feet.
Western Reserve, Connor Cochran, one of the hottest shooters. If he gets going, the dude just lights out from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
If he gets hot in this tournament, is there anybody that can stop Western Reserve until they reach the regionals?
No, again, you get to the regional. I mean, the only team, it's going to probably be as exciting as we look at that Ursuline Cheney matchup and what could potentially be in the regional final. That the district championship game, Western Reserve versus Heartland Christian. That game might be 180 to 182. I mean, it could be that much because they're the smallest division, but they got the highest. They got some serious upset potential, both teams to get somewhere. So I do think I think they're competitive. I think it'll be a great district championship. I hope for this this area that it happens, because if you're a basketball junkie, you're going to go there and you're going to want to watch it.
All right, that leads us to McDonald, the number one seed in across the board. I mean, everybody's been watching this team all year, and I'm not just talking about basketball. They're football as well. They lost one regular season game combined in football and in basketball. So my question to you is, what would constitute a disappointment for Jimmy Francicelli and his crew this year in this tournament?
Not making I think not making the regional semis would probably be a real punch in the gut for them. If they didn't get out of here and get into the, somehow, some way, if they didn't get out of here and they didn't get into the regional semis, I think that'd be real frustrating. I think, the same team that I said, that Medina Christian, that same team might end up taking McDonald in the in the regional finals. That would be the regional finals. So I think McDonald's got a chance to get all the way to the regional finals. If I'm a competitive coach, and I know he is, my mindset is state semifinals. That's where let's get that. That's our goal. That's where we're going to get to, because it's legitimate. It's a legitimate shot. They got legitimate opportunity to come out of Barberton and get there and get to Dayton against they got a couple good teams above them, because they are ranked one around here, but not overall in the state. But they are a clear favorite around here to get pretty daggone far.
Certainly a weapon. I mean, this is a very special group of seniors and underclassmen mixed in there as well, being the role players, and very unselfish. And it's good to see Jimmy getting his shot and hard work paying off. So good luck to the Blue Devils. Good luck to all the teams. But we're going to talk big picture now to wrap things up. So across all 7 divisions locally here, what and who has the best shot of raising that championship trophy at the end of the season?
All the way to Dayton.
Yeah.
I probably would have to go with McDonald, and it's not just because I'm going low seed, high potential. I just think they, you look at their pathway and smaller schools. The problem with like the Canfields of the world and the Cheneys and the Ursulines, you're eventually going to run into some Toledo, some Columbus, some Cleveland teams that are just really difficult to beat. Like it or don't like it. It's just the way it is. And so I would say it's probably McDonald. Then I would have to give it to Canfield, because the culture there that's been built year over year. I believe they're not afraid to get into the tournament and play, because they feel, I think complacency could beat Canfield more than than another team until they get to those those Cleveland teams in the region. So if they can somehow get hot and start sneaking by a couple of those, then they got a decent pathway. But to answer your question, it's probably McDonald in my mind.
All right, kind of the other end of that spectrum. What division is going to be the most fun to watch, and which division is going to be the most wide open across the board?
So I think the most fun locally, we've kind of talked about it. There's a lot of good early matchups in the D5 game of the teams that know each other. So I think locally that'll be exciting. Region, I think Division 3, talking about the Cheneys and the Ursulines of the world, I think that would be, if that played out, that would be a lot of fun to see, to watch go. I think Division 6 might be the most wide open, because you don't have a lot of returning powerhouses that have kicked everybody's rear end year over year. Because Richmond Heights, yes, they've won the last 4 years, but they're not the Richmond Heights of what they were the last 4 or 5 years. They lost a bunch of their starters to other squads. I think one of their biggest scorers went to Euclid. So you have teams that there's some potential there, and if you get them down, that might be a momentum for some schools that haven't been there. So I would say Division 6 would be my more wide open. Can we get there, and is it open for anybody this year? I think Berlin Highland's the favorite, but I like that division.
Okay, so if we're watching on the NFHS network or YSN, for you, where do you think the biggest upset is brewing? Any division, any game, it could be anybody.
Any division. So that would be a lower seeded team beating I'd say anybody that can try to get Lutheran East. I'll tell you this. I'll say Canton Central Catholic over Lutheran East in the Division 5 region, Division 5 regional semis. That would be the regional semis. No, that would be the regional finals. That would be my upset. Canton Central Catholic. I don't know if Canton Central Catholic can beat Chagrin Falls, but South Range is going to beat Chagrin Falls, so we'll take care of business for them.
Finally, I want to know which coach benefits the most from tournament experience this year.
It's a good question. You look at some of the staffs like the Cheneys, the Canfields, the Ursulines. Those are old dogs. They've been grinding out pathways through the state tournaments for a couple of years now. Building the culture, building the momentum. They're well prepared going into the season. So I think the guys like, obviously it's gonna be a selfish answer, but Coach Carden, Coach Flores, guys that I like that are younger in the program. I think it benefits them if they learn how to just get into the tournament and be well prepared game in and game out, instead of going, okay, we're looking at Lutheran East or we're looking at Chagrin. We're going to look today to play the team that's in front of us, and we're going to be prepared as best as we can, be prepared, and our kids are going to be prepared. And we're going to go over every situation. We're going to do our game-like situations in practice. We're going to answer all the questions that the game will provide us before the game's even here. That's being a well-prepared, well-coached basketball team. And you can do that. You got a week to prepare. You got a week to before you play. So you have all the film. When you get into the tournament, you're playing Saturday, then you're playing Wednesday, then you're playing Saturday, then you're playing. So you've got time in between. It's not Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday. So you got time in between to be well prepared. So I think the older dogs that have been doing it, they know that. So it's going to benefit some of the younger guys that are, year 1, year 2, year 3, that haven't had long runs in the tournament. It'll benefit them to take a little bit of a run and learn how to prepare each and every game.
I'll throw in Ursuline. I think that their run a couple years ago, obviously disappointment last year for everybody, but their run a couple years ago has them hungry. As you met, fat kid at a buffet, I think was the line.
I said fat guy, so you're now picking on kids.
I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry, children. I just think Keith Gunther has the experience already. I think he's got the motivation. I think now the kids, the student athletes have the motivation, and I'm interested. I think Ursuline's in for a nice run, and Canfield's in for a nice run. McDonald as well. Again, I think Western Reserve can be a weapon if 3-0 gets hot, dude. Connor Cochran is one of the biggest sharpshooters in this area.
Yeah.
And I also I'll drink the Kool-Aid, being a South Range guy, talking to a South Range guy. I think that if what we saw at West Branch, even though they didn't come out with a dub the other night, if we're seeing that team throughout the tournament, South Range is going to be an opponent that you have to look out for.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to play them if they're playing that kind of game. But I mean, Gunther's an easy pick in that one, and just you're right about the hunger. Once you feed off of that long tournament run, like you just want it year over year over year. And my 4 years of playing high school basketball, all long tournament runs, and it was like, man, we're practicing 2 and 3 weeks longer than everybody else in the valley. And I not to bring up football, but a lot of the teams that have long runs in football, that tend to be the programs that are more dominant around the state, because you get more practice time.
Yep.
So the more we can get these kids to understand what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, and build the foundation, I mean, I think that's it. So you're probably you're most likely right about that, and that's where I think Cheney might fall a little short. Like they need that, they because they're a program on, man, they're exciting basketball team to watch. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get to the regional finals, because coaching does come into play in the tournament for sure.
The last dance for the Cowboys. We'll see how it all ends, how it all shapes up for all these teams, not just the Cowboys, for all these teams. And we will be there every step along the way here at YSN. Coach Tom Titus, thank you so much for allowing your brainchild to come to life. We appreciate you as always, the breakdown, and certainly we're looking forward to the next time. Maybe next round we'll have you on. Talk about what surprised you, whatever.
I think you and I we're just coming up ways to hang out, man. That's all. And I love it.
Oh, me too, pal. Me too. All right. That's going to do it for this first ever edition of Tournament Rundown with Tom Titus. I'm DJ Yoakley. This has been a YSN production. We'll see you around the hardwood. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.